An Ontario Court of Appeals has ruled that Ontario players can legally compete with gamblers outside of Canada. CBC's Angie Seth has the latest on all of this. So, Angie, what does this mean exactly?
Well, it essentially really opens up the market, which is what Ontario has been trying to do. And it's sort of part of that is tackling access to the black market, which is the concern is. But sort of going into sort of what this actually means right now. So 4-1 judges ruling in favor of all of this, saying that it would not be against the criminal code if the government were to go ahead with this proposed plan. So the court did look at a few criteria. The one, of course, the proposed model itself, leading that up against what the criminal code would say. And they say in practice, of course, this would not be against that. But they also looked at other issues as well as in terms of the regulation and the monitoring of this practice. And iGaming Ontario proposed that it would identify the individual, the legal age, the eligibility of players as well located in Ontario who would be joining those international online pools, including and maintaining a robust anti-money laundering program, as well as rigorous responsible gambling initiatives like we see in many of the European countries who do open up their markets. So 4-5 judges, as I mentioned, were satisfied with that. The ruling from Chief Justice Tulloch saying based on the interpretation of the criminal code, and there's part of that ruling there, a majority of the court has concluded that online gaming and sports betting would remain lawful under the proposal from the Ontario government. And, as I mentioned, it opens up the door now to an industry that many would say was rather closed. Ontario's online gaming and sports betting now will be open to players outside, as I mentioned, of the province, outside of the country. And if we go back to November of 2024, this all came about from a question that the Ontario cabinet put forward to the Ontario Courts of Appeal, asking, would legal online gaming and sports betting remain lawful under the criminal code if its users were permitted to participate in games and betting involving individuals outside of the country? And clearly, of course, this decision becomes yes. It opens up the market exponentially. Take a listen to Don Bourgeois. He's a lawyer specializing in the gaming sector.
If you look at the prizes on some of the liquidity games, such as 649 or Maximilians, etc., the pot is larger than it would be if it was just players in Ontario or players in PEI, because it includes the players from across Canada.
So let's take a look at sort of some of the revenues that Ontario has been bringing in, that they do bring in from the industry here. So about 20% of the regulated gambling sites, that's revenues coming in, and that's defined as wagers minus payouts. So for the year 2023 to 2024, you can see there bringing in an estimated $790 million, and that's including taxes from the online gambling industry. This will open things up massively.
What about the opposition to all of this, Angie? Both from other provinces, but then from gambling sites as well. What have we seen?
Well, exactly. And from, majority of the provinces are saying we are quite concerned about this in terms of what this is going to mean in terms of regulation for us, but also concerns in terms of what this means for access to the black market, which we are seeing that being a growing concern. And of course, we know that online betting is a big deal. Proposition betting, of course, is a big issue as well. We've seen that situation happening in the United States, and that's prop betting, where you can sort of bet on specific aspects of a game, not the game as a whole. Flutter Entertainment, which owns PokerStar and FanDuel, wanted a say in all of this because they said, look, it's going to pull revenues away from us as well. We want to be able to access this. So the big question now is, could we be looking at an appeal? It is pretty much expected, especially with all the provinces except for Quebec and Alberta not opposed to this. So we could very well see an appeal going to the Supreme Court. With that being said, the decision coming from the appeals court is a yes, but I don't think the saga to this is far from over.
Okay, Angie, thank you for this. The CBC's Angie Seth for us.